That's why they came in fucking ears. Oh my God.
Don't tell anyone.
You're not going to believe this.
Don't tell
All
anyone.
right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Sorry for the delay. This is our first live stream. Thank you for sticking around. We probably lost a lot of people. I got to tell them. I'm going to tell them.
It's nothing to do with me.
We're on the
just throw that out
We're
there.
on the screen, and we see everybody commenting here, and we set this up to go live at 9. I thought we were live, and we were actually talking, and we were trying to talk to everybody. Oh my gosh! Thank you.
We've held an entire chat show in the last 15 minutes amongst ourselves, just us two chatting about paranormal stuff.
Oh God, I thought it went live.
And we've been like saying,
geez.
we said, so let's do a roll call. And if you're here in the chat, can everybody let us know whether or not you think there's a paranormal aspect to Bigfoot or not? We've been sat here saying, why is nobody answering that question?
We were literally talking to nobody for the last 20 minutes.
All right. So sorry, guys.
We thought it was live, and because we were on the screen, we didn't realize.
We are late, but Charlie's going to do an introduction again.
Welcome. Thank you for waiting. We'll get this fixed next week. But so thank you for joining us. We have a lot of people in the chat so far. Thank you for sticking around. We have Martin Groves from down by LBL, Tim Vogel, Shelby, Chris, Angela, and Jim. We have a bunch more too. We
should have got Judy and Greg Cash.
Greg and Judy Cash.
Yes.
We have, I don't know his name. He's from Western Pennsylvania. Thanks for joining us.
Ben.
All right. So tonight's topic is Bigfoot paranormal, or does it have supernatural abilities? And we talked briefly about
ourselves
the term paranormal, supernatural. They're very similar, and both of them, by definition, are abilities not recognized by science or validated by science. So there are a lot of people that believe Bigfoot is paranormal or has supernatural abilities. And that includes mind speak, telepathy. That includes cloaking, going through portals, in and out of dimensions, et cetera, et cetera. Years ago, I was adamant against that. I was entirely flesh and blood. It's a hominid that has adapted over thousands of years with better senses than ours that can do amazing things. I can explain a lot of those abilities with adaptation. Now, over the years, I've met many, many credible people, scientists, researchers. I'll name a few. I respect Ron Moorhead, and his Sierra Sounds. And he wrote the book Quantum Bigfoot, where Bigfoots can basically vibrate at different frequencies and maybe cloak and or go into different dimensions. Sorry, she's typing. Another gentleman that I admire, a researcher, and you guys all know him, Les Stroud, the Survivor Man, right? You know him, highly intelligent, very experienced. He's had encounters with Bigfoot. He's even reported mind speak in Tennessee. Les was at the late, great Scott Carpenter's research area, and Les was alone, and he said a Bigfoot spoke to him telepathically. I admire Les. So it's opened my eyes more to the possibility that they could be paranormal or supernatural. If you look at the Nephilims in the Bible, if Bigfoot is related to the Nephilims, right, that would explain that ability.
Would that be paranormal though?
Kind of. I mean, it's all kind of misconstrued. You'd have to look up the definition of both words. but basically they both mean kind of all those things. They can cloak, they can mind speak, they can go through portals, they can go in and out of dimensions, et cetera, et cetera.
Let's just briefly dig into that then. So if it's related to the Nephilim in the Bible, so the fallen angels had relations with man, woman, and then created women and created the Nephilim. Then there was the flood that should have got rid of the Nephilim. They were giants. Let me get this straight. So they should have, but here's what I heard. Here's my understanding of it, is that when the flood happened and the Nephilim were eradicated, because they are not just physical beings, there is the spiritual aspect to them too. The physical part of them, their bodies, was eradicated, but the spiritual side was not. And I think there is, correct me if I'm wrong, some suggestion that they became, I guess you could say, demons and have been able to possess human form again by entering into I guess, I don't know, people that are involved in the occult and things like that. I don't know enough about that, but I'm just trying to figure out how the Nephilim would be the paranormal side of it. If anybody has got a better explanation than what I was able to give, then please give it in the chat so we can figure it out.
Well, that I'm not a very good student of the Bible, but I do recall that when the flood was supposed to wipe out all the evil, the Nephilim survived because they could go to another dimension. They can, come and go as they please. So they were not eradicated. So the Nephilim stuck around, and therefore that's why we still have Bigfoot. Because I always wondered, how did we get 2 Bigfoots on the ark? That'd have been pretty a pretty big accomplishment for Noah to get 2 Bigfoots on the ark.
Right.
He probably didn't do that, did he?
No, because that should have.
Because they were bad. So yeah, Don Neal would know.
There was a time that I felt that it was Nephilim. But I also think that the floods got rid of what was supposed to have been taken care of.
And the other thing is, and I know Martin knows this too, because Martin knows a lot about this because he had mind speak with one as well. And Martin's good friends with Ron Moorhead. Our Nephilims are supposed to be evil. The fallen angels are supposed to be evil. So Nephilims are supposed to be evil in the Bible.
Well, I don't know if they were evil. They just defied God. And they had relations with women and created...
There's nothing wrong with that.
And created giants.
I'm just joking. No, but I'm saying though is if you look it up, you Google it, they have a negative, evil connotation to them. And Bigfoot, this is always the case with Bigfoot. Are they evil? Are they friends? Or they have different personalities, different temperaments? I'm going to just speak real quick on this. My 3 decades of research in Kentucky, I've interviewed over 688 witnesses.
So 689.
689 witnesses. I don't have one report of them hurting a person. Of all my research in 3 decades of 689 witnesses, close encounters, I don't have one of them hurting the witness. So my point is, if they were evil, there would be more attacks, you would think, where they put people in hospitals, they kill them. I know people go missing, but I think they go missing for health reasons. I think they go missing from foul play, other reasons.
You're talking about missing 411.
Right, missing 411. And David never really alludes to Bigfoot doing that. He never says what does it. But if you look at let me finish. If you look at his criteria of the missing cases, all the criteria are foul weather, the age, the really young people, and their mental well-being. A lot of them have mental issues or sickness or something. In all those cases, there's not one of the criteria was it was in a Bigfoot hotspot or there was a Bigfoot scene. So most of those are explainable. Now, I'm not saying Bigfoot can do this. Bigfoot does bluff charge, pushes trees over, throws rocks, yells at you, and usually we leave. We respect it, or we get scared, whatever, and we leave. But to say that Bigfoot is evil, I don't really necessarily think. I think it's smart enough to know all these centuries that we kill things. We've killed off every other hominid we coexisted with. It knows to keep its distance. It's smart enough to know just to keep far enough away from us. Don't attack us, or we're going to have a manhunt. We're going to have a monster hunt, and we're going to go kill it. So it knows not to hurt us. That's my thinking. But what do you guys think? Do you think Bigfoot is paranormal, supernatural, evil, or a forced friend? You can comment. I'm trying to read some of the comments.
Just put yes if you think it's paranormal and no if you think it's flesh and blood.
Well, it could be both. You can have both. It could come and go.
Interdimensional.
Yeah, Angela says a lot of indigenous tribes describe Bigfoot as being a spiritual entity. But Angela, they smoke that peace pipe. They're always smoking that peace pipe, so you got to be careful. I'm just kidding. And the paranormal interdimensional would explain why the tracks seem to stop. You get one track and then there's no more tracks. It also could be the substrate. So it could have been a muddy area, then it stepped into the grass or stepped into a rock, and maybe that's why the trackway stopped.
It could be that they're taking very large steps too.
Right, their strides are much farther than people think.
It's all circumstantial.
Yeah, Martin was saying Mr. Moorhead thinks they can go interdimensional, and they are very evil.
Which is the interdimensional aspect is, we had a long conversation before you guys got here. We went really in depth into interdimensional stuff and how that's becoming a lot more mainstream. You missed all of that, so sorry. But the more I read into it, I'm beginning to sway more to there being different planes of existence on the earth. And another thing that we touched on that you guys weren't privy to is that our eyes don't see every available light spectrum. We only see a very small amount of what's actually out there, and that's scientifically proven. So just because we can't see in that light spectrum, does it actually mean that that thing is there or not there?
Earlier, you gave a good example of a helicopter.
Well, yeah, I was talking about vibrations and how things vibrate on different levels and the speed on which that happens. And I was chatting with John Harbolt on text recently, and I don't know how, but the conversation came about. I think he just asked a question or something. And I had said to him, a helicopter propeller is there, and if you walk into it, it's going to hurt you pretty bad, if not, destroy you completely. But you can't see it because it's moving so fast. It's vibrating so much that it becomes invisible, but that doesn't mean it's not there. So it all comes down to how fast things vibrate as well. And I wish I knew more about atoms and how they...
Well, here's another one.
Nothing is truly solid. Everything is made up of atoms,
Right, and they move at different frequencies. My issue is if a Bigfoot can vibrate at a different frequency, a Bigfoot's not a inanimate object. It's not a helicopter blade
Hi,
made
Shelby.
of metal. Bigfoot is an organic, living, breathing creature. How can it vibrate and not its heart not stop if it vibrates at a different frequency? I don't understand that part. I would like to see a science experiment done where you could do that with a living, breathing creature. I don't know how you do it to vibrate. You know what I think about, and this is crazy. You know, Charlie, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Do you remember the part in the Willy Wonka, the Chocolate Factory, where they had that transporter and they could transport something from here to over here? Do you remember that? It would go up and you see the little particles. It would go in, it would disappear. And you see the particles go through the sky and then reappear over here. Mm-hmm. Remember that in Willy Wonka?
Teleporting.
Right. But again, I know that's different, but it's like almost like the particles, like how do you vibrate or not disassemble them and the creature not die?
Oh God, it just reminded me of that old movie that still haunts me. Did anybody watch The Fly with Jeff Goldblum? Goldblum. It was super old, and I think they made a remake of it too. And he goes into a teleporter, and a fly flew in there with him.
Right.
And it combined.
Right. So that's my point.
Oh God.
It combined them into that weird creature.
We should watch that one again.
That's a good movie. Yeah, I remember that. I like to see things replicated with science, like proven. That's what's hard about some things. With Bigfoot, a lot of it is hearsay or witness testimony.
So what do you think, Charlie? Is it paranormal or is it flesh and blood?
So I'll give you my belief real quick. I think Bigfoot has adapted over thousands of years. All their senses are far more superior than our senses. Sense of smell, eyesight, hearing, all that good stuff. Maybe even that part of the brain that can talk telepathically. Because we know humans can do remote viewing, right? We also have people that are, psychics or mediums that the law enforcement uses to find missing people. There was a study I saw on children. There are these special children that, and I've seen the whole study of it. They blindfold these children. They give them a book they've never seen before. And these children who are blindfolded could read that book. Crazy stuff that humans can do. And all of us can't do it. So could Bigfoot, tapped into that part of the brain that could use the mind speak and such? Maybe. I think that's possible because Martin on here said he had mind speak happen to him. Les Stroud claims a Bigfoot had mind speak with him. I've heard other people say it too. So,
well, I think even some humans can speak telepathically.
Yeah, there's
so in terms of, and then you just got to look at dolphins and how they communicate. Like they're amazing all by themselves. And I've been recently, I was reading something about how there is apparently a worldwide law or something that humans are not allowed to interact on any level, absolutely whatsoever, with a dolphin. And you've got to ask yourself, why are we not allowed to communicate with dolphins on any form whatsoever? And then, so on from that, I read that there is some evidence to suggest that they are 1,000 times more intelligent than what we've been led to believe. And we already thought they were smart, but that they are able to communicate on different levels. I'm going to have to pull up a ton of research. I think I need another computer here so I can touch back on things that I've read.
Use your phone here. Use your phone. Look something up. All right. Let me answer address some questions here. Someone mentioned in the chat Missing 411, which I love David Pilates. We met him many times. Wonderful man. Very smart, very knowledgeable. I like him a lot. And he's written those Missing 411 books. He has also made a couple movies. I don't think I've seen this one. Missing 411, The UFO Connection. We need to watch that one.
Yeah. I used to watch his show religiously back when I used to have more time.
And then someone else mentioned, Angela, the telepathy tapes. I've never seen that, telepathy tapes. So again, you have to be open-minded, listen to the witnesses, do the research on it. But again, it's almost like I need to talk to one telepathically for me to believe. Because, and my background is in psychology. I know fight or flight kicks in. And I know if you're in the woods in a remote area, it's dark and scary, and there's Bigfoot there and dogmen, and you're walking by yourself, you can freak yourself out. And that voice in your head can start talking to you. Leave now. You better leave now. Well, is that the Bigfoot telling you to leave now? Or is that the little voice in your head?
Your sixth sense.
Your sixth sense too, right? Same thing. Your sixth sense. But it doesn't mean the Bigfoot is actually telling you to leave now. It could just be your own conscience, your own common sense telling you to leave now.
Spidey senses.
Right. So I would like to know more exactly.
Or
like
women's intuition.
Yeah, women have a really good intuition. I'm saying you do. A mother's intuition, yeah. Right. So Martin, if you're still here, Martin mentioned that he had telepathy with a Bigfoot. I'm curious to know what was said. Was there any specific words? Was it a sentence? I like to know more about what was actually said. Again, Les Stroud, if you go look up Les Stroud, Bigfoot encounters, and him in Tennessee, he talks about specifically what the Bigfoot said to him, which I admire less. So Martin, when you said Bigfoot can or has talked to you, what did it say? Can you give us one sentence that Bigfoot said to you? Sorry, I don't mean to be in your way. We've got to get two computers.
Yes.
We're sharing one computer.
Actually.
And we don't need another thing to fight over. So we need to get another web camera. I would like to know more about the cloaking as well, because I will tell you this. I interviewed Mike Smith down in LBL, and Martin knows Mike Smith because Mike Smith had a daytime sighting at LBL. I went out there with Brent Sipley. We met Mike Smith. We did a reenactment. We went in his boat. We went to where the Bigfoot was standing. The one thing Mike said in his interview, when the Bigfoot was standing by the tree and the sunlight was hitting the Bigfoot, and if the Bigfoot would move in and out of the shadows, he said it's almost like it turned invisible, depending on the way the light was hitting the Bigfoot. He said it almost looked like it was cloaking because of the light. So hear me out real quick. We know polar bears have clear hair. They're not white. The polar bear hair is clear, and it looks white because it absorbs the white around it from the snow, which makes it look white. It can refract or bend light. We know Bigfoots don't have a cellular medulla. All the hair samples we've gotten from Bigfoot sightings that are unknown primate, there's no cellular medulla. I have another case of a Bigfoot falling in the Green River, and the witnesses saw the Bigfoot climb out of the water, and he told me the hair looked dry. When the Bigfoot ran off, the hair was blowing in the wind. So does the hair, over thousands of years of adaptation, have special properties that could refract light, bend light, absorb light to make it look like it's cloaking?
Maybe. Could also be that if there is no cellular medulla, so the hairs are transparent, it could be that if the Bigfoot was able to camouflage or change its skin color like an octopus can, maybe that would create an illusion of invisibility if its skin can blend into its background. Because wouldn't that the hair, you would just see straight through it?
That's true. That makes some sense.
Cryptic coloration, I think it is.
Oh, sorry. This comment here about the blood types activate these portals. That's interesting. So I think that I've never heard this before. Like, how do you know this, that the blood types can activate portals? I'm just curious. Or is it a theory or speculation? The other one is, I wanted to do this. Can I see that a second? I wanted to know. I really wanted to do this one because we were talking about it. Just slide over a little bit. So this one here I wanted to bring up because we're talking about being paranormal and cloaking and such. I like this because there could be different types of Bigfoot, right? Some Bigfoot could be shapeshifters. Other ones could be flesh and blood. Maybe there's two types of Bigfoot.
I mean, it's possible. I think shapeshifters are paranormal and can take on the form of Bigfoots, but they are not Bigfoots. Bigfoot is 100% biological. They eat, sleep, urinate, defecate, and bear young. True.
Mm-hmm.
So you think there's shapeshifters and Bigfoot, and they're two separate entities, but one takes on the form of the other. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many questions, right? As we know, the more you do this, you have more questions than answers. You would think the longer you do it, you'd have more answers. But the longer you do it, we hear more and more crazy stories.
Well, the more you go down rabbit holes, and I think the government too is opening the eyes of the world too, because they're making the whole UFO thing just more mainstream. Like, there's more people now believing in aliens than there ever was, so it's not such a huge leap to go from, well, the government is saying there's aliens and there's UFOs, so then people are like, well, maybe Bigfoot is real.
But
maybe those memes are true, where you see Bigfoot being ported up to the UFO.
That could be, again.
That's a whole different topic.
Yeah, but again,
we're not going to do the UFO thing tonight.
One quick side note about the government. I do believe the government knows. I've got witness testimony on Fort Knox. We have a new eyewitness. It's a sergeant on Fort Knox. He's on our YouTube right now. It's one of the last videos we interviewed him. He went public. He went on a video talking about his week-long encounter with multiple Bigfoots. And it wasn't just him. Multiple sergeants saw the Bigfoot on Fort Knox. I do believe the government knows because of that deathbed confession that I also documented. I don't think the government will ever come out and admit it because of the killings on Fort Knox, because of the land. Who gets the land? If Bigfoot is discovered, this is what worries me. If Bigfoot is officially recognized, and most of them are in state parks and national parks, by the way, a lot of them, those parks are protected from hunting. And that's why I think a lot of Bigfoots congregate there, because we have a lot of reports in state and national parks. If a Bigfoot is discovered, proven by science. Who gets the forest? Do we get it or do they get it? There's the dilemma, right?
Right.
You think of the spotted owl, how we protected the spotted owl, but now a Bigfoot looks human-like. It has feelings and emotions. It has families. Who gets the land? So I think the government will probably never admit it.
I just wanted to highlight this comment from Martin. Charlie, because you had asked Martin about the mind speak and what he'd heard. So Charlie, words and questions and answers from the Bigfoot. One sentence, when asked how old he was, I am older than the mountains of smoke.
Wow. The mountains of smoke.
The Smoky Mountains?
Yeah, the Smoky Mountains.
Oh,
Was that over by the Smoky Mountains, Martin? Sounds like it.
Let me try and bring Martin up.
I don't think you can.
Oh. Let's see. Present
I
slides.
don't think you can do that. And you have to invite the guest. You have to ask them. They want to do that.
Yeah.
We were thinking of a way to bring a guest
TikTok.
up on the stage here. We haven't figured it out yet, but the
Figure
great
that out for next time.
Yeah, great comments here. It is scary though to think that if they have these special abilities, that makes it even more frightening. And not, it's not just some big hairy, boogeyman hiding in the woods. Now, if it has special abilities, then they have the upper hand, by far. Then it's even more frightening, I think, kind of. But again, I don't know if you guys.
I think they've always had the upper hand.
Well, yeah, I think I like to say they have a high environmental IQ.
Right.
To me, when you're in the woods, they are the ninjas of the forest. They have the upper hand.
I think if we were the smart ones, they would be common knowledge. We would have outed them a long time ago.
Right. They're smarter in a different way.
Right.
We're book smart, and they're nature. They're the ninjas of the forest.
Right.
And so yeah, I think I'm hoping. Here you said, I'm hoping that they do discover them in our lifetime. Like we do prove. I'm selfish because I want them proven to tell everybody I told you so.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't want any harm to come to them. So I don't know how that works.
They're 100% real, and 100% the government knows. It's whether or not they care to share that with the rest of the world anytime soon. I don't think they're anywhere close to doing that.
So back to the paranormal supernatural things. I have taken a few reports of the people, the witnesses telling me they saw the Bigfoot disappear. Not many, and close to 700 reports. Only a handful that said the Bigfoot disappeared. It's almost hard to believe. Like I would have to see it and not see it myself to believe it.
Right, because there are explanations for them disappearing. There's like we were just saying, the cryptic coloration. There's that video that we've got somewhere about the bull tar that are just completely camouflaged on the side of the hill, and you just can't see them. We've got possibility of them dropping down onto all fours, getting out of the way really quickly in the blink of an eye.
Right. That's a good example. They're so quick. If you blink your eye, if you look at your partner and said, "Hey, did you see that?" and they're gone, did it drop down in the tall grass? Did it step behind a tree? Is that cloaking? Just because they're super quick and agile, that doesn't mean they cloaked. It just means they're quick and they're cunning. They're smart.
And the human eye detects movement. You can be out in the forest and you won't see something straight in front of you if it's camouflaged until it moves. If they're not moving, you're not going to see them. It's just the way humans work.
You're right. Most most people, I would say, would walk right by a Bigfoot and never see him unless he moves, right? I think they're very intelligent like that. Now, I will tell you this, in Tennessee, up in the Cherokee Mountains, we jumped some juvies, some young Bigfoot, which did not remain still. We think they panicked and they ran, and then we thermed one of them belly crawling. And it's on my YouTube. You go way back on my YouTube channel. It looks like a juvie, a young Bigfoot, humanoid shape, flat face. It wasn't a bear, wasn't a deer, was belly crawling. We have that on thermal on our YouTube channel. You got to go way back to watch it, because we know Bigfoots will go to all four, even spider crawl. This is crazy. Just a few years ago, we documented one on our expeditions under thermal. Well, we didn't record it. The guy didn't know how to hit record, unfortunately, but he watched it spider crawl, completely flattened out and spider crawl. And then I'm like, wow, they can spider crawl. That's amazing. The strength to be sprawled out, their belly touching the ground basically, and crawl like a spider. That's incredible strength.
I just highlighted this comment here from Tim. We had 2 encounters with Bigfoot, and each encounter ended up with the Bigfoot disappearing and an orb shows up and disappears in seconds. So did you see it disappear, or was it just gone out of sight really quickly? And the orbs is an interesting concept too, because orbs are mentioned a lot in the paranormal world, in haunted houses and God knows whatever else. But lots of talk of people seeing orbs in the forest as well. In fact, we've got some really good friends that saw an orb on their property as well, not very far from where we live right now.
Brent Sipley, good friend of mine, ours, was on an expedition, and Brent is a guy that he's super smart, very honest. Anything he says, I believe. He saw an orb in the woods, like about this size, grow to the size of a basketball and shrink back down, grow again, even larger, shrink back down, and grow again, even larger. He goes, I don't know what it was. I watched it, and I know him very well, so I believe him. It helps if you know the person, to believe their stories. But Now he didn't see a Bigfoot. I'll give you another example. I happened to be on an expedition. It's an area where there's been lots of Bigfoot sightings. And I was looking the wrong way, and people go, look, and they saw these orbs. One was like orange, one was whitish blue, going along a creek where the Bigfoots had been seen, not right then, on other occasions. We had eyewitnesses see the Bigfoots on that creek. They all saw the orbs going down the creek, and then they quickly disappeared. And I said, because I'm more of a skeptic about that, I said, I wonder if that's the eye shine, because you know how big their eyes are. And you're getting the profile, like the side part of an eye that's reflecting light. And that's what you're seeing. And they look like orbs, but it's actually one of the eyes. I don't know. Again, I'm open-minded because I do believe in ghosts. So I do believe in orbs as well. And maybe some ghosts could be Bigfoot ghosts. Maybe if Bigfoots die, they have ghosts, just like we have ghosts or spirits that, for whatever reason, stay here.
Yeah, it's possible.
So I don't know.
It's possible. I did once see a light in the woods. Lots of people talk about seeing lights, white lights or orange lights, I've heard, or globes and things like that. I once saw a red light in the woods, and it was on an expedition that we did in 2021, I think, at Jay Keating's property. And there was me and Charlie, and we'd all broken down into teams at night. You probably won't remember because he's got a terrible memory, but there was me and Charlie, and then there was another couple with us. And so there was just the 4 of us, and we were just sat there quietly. And off in the distance, I saw this red light, and it kind of came out from behind a tree and moved, I don't know, a meter or so, and then moved backwards and then went back behind the tree. Well, where it was, there was a huge embankment, and these trees were massive. So this was high up, and I have no idea what that was. Just a red glowing light. Like sometimes you'll see a light through the trees, and if you're moving around, it looks like that light is moving, you know, and you'll go this way and it looks like the light goes that way. But I was sat perfectly still and this light came out.
I do.
Moved.
I do remember that. Now, the tricky part is, and Devin, thanks for joining us, Devin. I admire Devin. I send Devin all of our audio, and Devin's a cryptolinguist.
Hi,
so
Devin.
Devin's here too. We have a lot of great people in the chat, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us. So what Devin was talking about, a lot of the orbs are about the height of a Bigfoot. Like they're, you know, you can't tell the terrain. So you don't know if the terrain drops off or goes up, and that orb is actually the height of a Bigfoot. And are you seeing the eye shine of a Bigfoot, because they have enormous eyes and they reflect a lot of light that could look like orbs. So maybe you're seeing what you think is an orb and is actually eye shine.
Maybe, but a lot of people report to see these things floating through the forest, you know, and I know that those good friends of ours, I don't know if they're in the chat and they want to come forward and say anything, but they were sat around the campfire and this thing came, and they got a video of it. We saw the video, in fact, and this thing comes down from the trees. Actually, that reminds me too of the video last time it was a fall expedition. That same couple and a few more people saw an orb come down out of the trees, and they got it on camera and they filmed it for a few minutes. That one was amazing.
So that one, I saw that on video.
Yeah.
Greg recorded it.
Right.
I don't know if Greg's in the chat still, Greg and Judy, but Greg has that video. He videotaped an orb, and this looks like an orb. It wasn't eye shine of a Bigfoot. You can see it. It's kind of transparent because when it would go in front of something, you can see through it. It came out of a tree, went down, went around the tree, and he has a video of that. So maybe we'll get him to share that video soon.
We need to get that one uploaded so everybody can see it, and then sound off about what they think it is, because that's great. So
I'm going back to the science of it. Okay. Correlation, causation. You can say a lot of it's correlated.
Oh, see, Jamie says it went up and around the trees. Did you see it, Jamie? Because you were there.
Yeah, Jamie saw it, I think, the actual orb going up and down. That looked like an orb, though. Didn't look like eye shine. And it could be different things. I mean, it could be we're seeing two things in the same area, paranormal stuff like supernatural ghost spirits, and we can also have Bigfoot. I mean, it's not unlikely to have ghosts everywhere.
Tim says the orb we saw 50 feet in a white pine traveled to the top of the trees, and it floated treetop for 5 seconds and then gone.
Wow. That's crazy.
Crystal blue in color.
Well, so Tim, if you saw that high up, that's crazy. Now, the question though, Tim,
Melissa saw it.
And Melissa saw the one. So the question though is, did you see the Bigfoot turn into the orb and the orb turn into the Bigfoot? That's what I want to see, or I want people to tell me, I saw the Bigfoot turn into the orb. That would make. I
don't think anybody's ever seen that.
That would make me a believer.
Right, but that's suggesting that Bigfoot and the orbs are one and the same.
Well, that's what we're talking about, paranormal, supernatural. If they are, they can do that.
Turn into orbs? I don't know. That one's a step above for me.
Yeah, so that would be something paranormal, supernatural. But I think a lot of it's explained by science. A lot of the things Bigfoots can do.
I think there is a connection with the orbs, but I think it's energy. I think it's maybe again to do with the location and energy of that property. I don't know, but I don't know if I could go as far as saying the Bigfoot is turning into the orb.
Right. That's my point. I would have, you can get them in the same locations, but is it correlation or causation? Does one cause the other, or is it just happens to be in the same area? I don't know. Bigfoots in graveyards. People talk about, and I've had a lot of reports of Bigfoots in graveyards watching people visit their loved ones. We have a lot of Bigfoot reports by graveyards. And do they do that just to watch people? Is it related to the dead somehow? Or I always say they're deer. Like a lot of these graveyards are in the woods, and it's a nice grassy area for the deer to feed. So if the deer are there in the graveyards, that would attract the Bigfoot. It could be that simple.
Right.
So I don't know.
So there's so many different potential paranormal
David,
aspects to it.
Dave's got a good one here. So David mentioned this one here. It's a documentary, A Flash of Beauty. We'll have to try that one.
Oh, that one's been on our list for a long time.
Yeah, that's a good.
I remember wanting to watch that one months ago.
Thanks, David.
We never got around to it.
Hey, Greg is going to send us the video. Yeah, send us that video of the orb, Greg.
Oh, would we be able to get it up here tonight?
I don't know. We try. Hey, Greg, can you go back and present, Greg, and show it? If you're on your laptop, Greg, go to present like you did earlier, and show that video. See if you can do that. Henry said he's getting a lot of traffic. Henry, a lot of traffic this year. I mean, Bigfoot, like Bigfoot sightings.
I think he said earlier that he got activity on his property.
Where are you at, Henry? Henry,
Here's a comment from Henry. He's been in the chat for a while. Question: has anyone seen the Bigfoot babies and when they show up? The little one I saw 3 to 6 months, maybe compared to human babies. So you're seeing.
So wow, Henry saw. That's a little baby. Like the mom.
That's something that you don't hear very often.
Well, yeah, the mother had to be close by. It's kind of scary to see a young one that young. Because I think the mother would be very protective.
We should chat with you, Henry, about what you've got going on there. I'm not sure where you're located, if you're in Kentucky or not, but we would love to have a conversation with you about that.
Yeah, anybody that has seen one, a Bigfoot, we don't really do interviews for paranormal, so to speak, like orbs and such, but we focus mostly on Bigfoot sightings. So if you've had a Bigfoot sighting, please contact us. We'd like to do an interview with you.
It says Mum was sitting in the sun 50 to 60 yards away.
Oh, wow. So Henry saw the mother sitting in the sun. Henry, we would love to do an interview with your sightings, because that's remarkable to see a baby that young and then see the mom. So maybe Henry.
Good night, Chris. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, Chris, thank you so much.
We started late. So
Thanks.
Sorry about that.
Thanks for being patient. Next week, we'll have a new topic and we'll start on time. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up here. It's about 10, almost 10:10. So we did start late. Anybody have any questions before we wrap this up? Any questions about Bigfoots being paranormal, supernatural? And we'll try to bring them up in the chat here.
Sounds good, Henry.
So yeah, thank you, Henry. Anybody have a question about Bigfoots being paranormal or supernatural, or comment? If you can mention that in the chat, I will bring it up here so people can see it. Thank you, Martin.
Oh, thank you, Martin. We totally winged it.
Yeah, this is everybody. This is our first time. So
Charlie has been wanting to do something like this for a long, long time, and I've kind of been reluctant to get started with it. But this past weekend, it was kind of like he was adamant. So we're going to roll with it.
This is, it's going, it's only going to get better. All these people here, thank you so much for joining us. If you have another comment or something in here, here's one right here. He says, yeah, we're aliens. Yeah, we all could be aliens. If you watch ancient astronaut theorists, they contend we are all aliens. And maybe Bigfoot is a type of alien. If we're aliens, then Bigfoot could be alien.
We'll have to do a night on the Bigfoot and alien connection, because that is a topic all of its own. Let's look at this comment. We're
going to keep doing this, guys. Thank you guys for being patient with us. We're only going to get better with this each week.
Had the Anunnaki not tinkered with human DNA, we'd all be Sasquatch. Not all Homo sapiens were altered, though, so they are the original humans. We are aliens. Okay, right.
It could be. Yeah, if you watch Ancient Aliens, they talk about how they messed with our DNA, and that's why there's such a big gap, a missing time or missing link or whatever you want to call it. So that it could be true. Who knows?
Right.
I have a hard time. I love Ancient Aliens. I love it. A lot of history there, but I'm very religious too. So I have a hard time believing in God and then also believing aliens created us. So I don't know how to decipher that.
Decipher what?
Well, aliens from God. Like who created us? Did aliens create us or did God? Okay, that's another topic. Maybe another week we'll talk about aliens and Bigfoot. That would be a topic. Aliens and Bigfoot.
It would be. That one will get some interesting conversation for sure. And we should try and bring up Tiffany Mack Sipley if we do that show, because Tiffany has a podcast of her own. She's very experienced, very knowledgeable. She's wonderful. She's beautiful. But
she's been abducted many times.
She's got a lot to say on aliens. And I've got my thoughts on aliens too, and it's not really that conventional. Charlie thinks it's stupid, but we'll share that in a different show.
Yeah, so that'll be another show.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's see. I'm just reading some of these comments before we sign off. So many nice comments. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the nice comments. See, did you know that Kentucky is a power cave?
We will keep doing it, Devin, and we're hoping to figure this thing out so that we're able to bring people up too. I know on TikTok, when people go live, they can just bring somebody up instantly and they can join in the conversation and you can see them on video. I guess it depends. You've got to get, maybe if you're on your phone, you can do it. But we're hoping to do a lot more of that too in the future, where we can just get people to come up and speak, share an opinion, and then, they can go back into the background and we'll bring somebody else up. So we're going to make it super interactive.
Martin was mentioning Daryl has seen a hairy man come out of orbs. See, I would like to talk to him, because I want to talk to a witness that's seen the Bigfoot transform.
Well, we saw a portal open and Dogman step out. Werewolf Part 2 STM.
Yeah, I need to talk to some of those witnesses, because I think the witness testimony is crucial. I always tell people this: the witnesses tell us a lot about Bigfoot, because we don't have a lot of videos or pictures of Bigfoot. The witnesses tell us what they look like, how they behave, where they live. Witness testimony is crucial, and that's why we specialize in that. And I've done many. Sorry, I talk with my hands.
He keeps blocking the screen, so I can't see anything.
Witnesses are crucial to our research. So, unless it's really bogus, like there's a couple times where they've seen, I don't know, one too many dogman, or they've seen 20 Bigfoot surround them. That could be possible. When it gets a little too far-fetched, I don't add it to my database.
That's it. Another question from Jamie. Another question in hand with the paranormal Bigfoot aliens at hand say, it has something to do with being surrounded by certain rock minerals, etc. I'm not sure about that one. That's something that we'll have to discuss.
Well, they say that with the paranormal. Like if you watch the ghost shows, if you're near areas where there's, I don't know, crystals or water or things that,
right. And
I don't
then
know,
that ties back into
has energy, and that
right.
allows them to, you know, what do you call it? Appear. What do you call that when they appear? I don't know.
Manifest.
Yeah, manifest in front of you. And that's what you're talking about, these ley lines and other areas like Skinwalker Ranch. There's so many weird things there. And maybe that allows the Skinwalkers or even Bigfoot in certain areas. But I have Bigfoot sightings all over Kentucky. There's not like one area I can say it's because of supernatural, you know, things with the earth or, you know, ley lines or such. I think they live in these areas because it's forests and they're state parks or national parks that are kind of protected. And that's why the Bigfoots are there. It's not because of the ley lines or anything like that. They go where there's some.
So if they're in protected land in the national forests, how much do we need to protect their land if they're already in protected lands?
We're still going to have to protect them because they're going to take away our forests eventually. Eventually, we're going to lose.
But didn't they do that when they made the national forests?
They did. Teddy Roosevelt was a big part of that. But
so
we're not going to get too political here.
Maybe that's why they did it, because there's more going on than they care to share.
It could be. Or they just want to protect nature in general.
Could be Bigfoot.
And other animals. Yeah, we want to protect the forests. Okay. Look who's here. I got to address it. My little brother, my baby brother joined us.
Hi, David.
David, I can't do that. I was going to show you what I was drinking. Is it hair? It is.
Hair it is. Hair it is. Well, there isn't a natural material that can truly cloak light in the way a fictional invisibility cloak would. So that's what
David Raymond, you missed earlier. I talked about Bigfoot's hair. There's on the Bigfoot hair we have, there's no cellular medulla. So a lot of the hair we think has special properties which could refract light or bend light or absorb light. And that can make the Bigfoot look invisible depending on where it's standing in the light, et cetera, et cetera. So it could be the hair, could be part of the reasons why it blends in so well, but it could be explained by nature. So I don't know. So anyway, we got some more people coming in, but we're about an hour into this, and I did not eat dinner yet. And Lyndsey made a wonderful steak. No, it's not steak. It's pork chops.
It's pork chops.
She made pork chops and a baked potato and salad, and I did not eat yet. So we're going to wrap this up. We cannot thank everybody that took the time to tune in. Again, it was a rough start tonight. Next week will be better. We'll come up with a new topic, and we want more people to interact and join us next week. And
send us some topics that you want to cover too, if there's something that really interests you.
Yeah.
And it's got a Bigfoot connection. And as we get deeper into this, it may not have to be Bigfoot related. We might touch on different subjects as well.
Like what? Dogmen, other cryptids,
pyramids, like.
Oh yeah, we could do other.
Look at what they just found under the pyramids in, is it Giza? Is it those? And they say there's pyramids in America too. Like, that's a fascinating topic.
Yeah.
In the Grand Canyon, in fact, which links back in to the national forests and the protected lands that they've got. there's some people saying that the reason that you can't just go wandering off in those areas, because you're going to find monuments as well.
Yes.
That
And
they don't want you to know about.
now, to be honest, this is called Bigfoot.
In the Grand Canyon.
See right here? It's called Bigfoot Hangout. So I think this podcast, we're going to focus on Bigfoot. Every week, every Tuesday night at 9:00, we're going to talk Bigfoot. Now, if Lyndsey wants to make her own channel on these other things.
This is my channel.
This is my channel. So this is my channel. And next week, we're going to talk more about Bigfoot. Again, thank you guys for showing up tonight. Again, I got to go eat. And we're going to say goodbye. Say goodbye.
Thank you for coming, everybody. It's been fun. I think it's super important that we all get together and do the whole round table thing. Keep it real, keep the conversations going, and be patient with us. It's going to get better, but we're tripping in the right direction.
Yes. So again, every Tuesday night, 9:00, you guys show up. We'd love to talk to you some more. And make sure you like and subscribe our YouTube channel. We have a new witness video. Before I forget, tonight, the Dogman Witness is live. About 2 hours ago, I went live with the guy that saw Dogman here in Kentucky on our YouTube channel. So make sure go and watch that. It's a really good episode. All right. Thank you guys for showing up again. God bless you.
Thanks, guys. Good night. Be safe.
All right. Good night.
We'll see you next week.
There we go. Is it ending? We're trying to say goodbye.